I am so happy with how this looks for the Rangers. We have a pitcher, Jack Leiter, and he is a dude.
And while I do think his hitting is worse than Derek Jeter, it's not that far off.
You're not mentioning 2006. You can mention the other people, not 2006.
Oh, just because I bought the best soap doesn't mean your room's going to be clean. It just leaves it to where I don't believe that the Canadians had a shot.
I really don't like the Clippers just kind of sending it in when they're like...
Hi, this is Kelly Forbes with the Dallas Stars, and you're listening to Outsiders Opinions with Kevin and Austin.
What's up, y'all? Welcome to our NHL Opinions of the Week. The man whose team also advanced as mine, but the man that kept the faith in the Stars advancing, overcoming a 2-0 deficit to the Stanley Cup champions. Second time that's happened, which was, man, what a series. But that will be saved for the end of that, so that's a teaser. But what a kind of disappointing first round.
Yeah, we can start out with the worst series of the first round, Rangers vs. Capitals. I predicted this to be a sweep. I didn't do as well in the NHL predictions as I do the NBA. NHL is just harder to predict, but I did predict the Rangers to win and for a terrible series from the Capitals. The Rangers were far and away the better team, and I don't think anyone's surprised by the result.
Yeah, I totally agree. We're not surprised by that result. I did okay. I know you had Tampa Bay winning Florida. I thought it was going to be much closer as well, but Florida gentlemen swept Tampa Bay, even though there were some close games. I don't know. We'll have to. I still think Tampa's good, but they're just dealing with a lot with their previous success and how that hampered their free agency moves.
Yeah, that's a good point. I expected it to be closer. The Lightning winning in 6, but the Panthers. There were some close games in there that the Panthers obviously stole or got away with, but by the end of the series, they were the better team and they move on.
Yeah, and then Boston cut it a little close.
That's an understatement.
Yeah.
Game 7 overtime, not just Game 7.
Yeah, Game 7 overtime.
We did predict a Game 7. I think I did. You said there wasn't going to be any Game 7s in the first round. Remember when we did that video?
No, I did a lot. Like it was either 6 or 7.
No, I'm talking about when we did a video in the middle of the series regarding will there be any Game 7s, and I said yes. This was actually the series I was referring to because when we're up 3-1 against Toronto, I expect a Game 7. But it ended out just like I predicted. Bruins move on, and that's all that matters. It doesn't matter how many games it takes. It just matters that your team is in the second round.
Yeah, a win's a win. They won the series. I'm curious how they'll be against Florida because I do think they need a little bit more kind of conviction. But Carolina, too. I thought it was going to be much closer as well. The Islanders struggled. They had a 3-0 lead, and they lost.
They didn't really struggle at keeping it close. It's just all the close games they lost. And in that game, again, they were up 3-0, and then ended up losing backbreakers. And they win the next game in OT, and then the next game was close, but they ended up losing. Close series, but the Hurricanes were the better team throughout.
Yeah, and now we go to Edmonton just beating the Kings. They seem to turn it on.
The offense is offensing. It's McDavid had 12 points, and even better than McDavid, Draisaitl had 10 points, which you're like, oh, better than. But McDavid only had 1 goal this series. Draisaitl had 5 goals, 5 assists, just unconscious. And those two guys together, when they're firing, they're the best 2 players in hockey.
Yeah. I don't think there's much to say there. Now we go Vancouver, Nashville. I thought Nashville was going to pull this out. I disrespected Vancouver, and they went through like 4 goalies, and they were still able to pull it out.
Very close series, though.
Yeah.
The Panthers were up 3-1 at home in Game 4. Yeah, in Game 4, that would have kept the series 2-2 if they had won that game. They end up losing it with the Brock Besser scored a goal, the game-tying goal with 8 seconds left, and then ended up winning in OT. Tight series. I predicted Vancouver in 6, and it ended up happening. We'll see what happens in the next round.
Yeah, and I'm curious who are they going to roll in goal for this upcoming series?
I don't know if they know. It's going to depend on health and obviously how each goalie is playing, but they survived the series with their situation. We'll see if they can continue it.
Yeah, and now we go Colorado versus Winnipeg. I'm really shocked. Hellebuck.
Yeah, if you would have told me how many goals the Jets scored in this series, I would have thought that they would have won it or got really close. Scoring 7 goals in a game and having the other team score 6 Colorado in every game scored 6 or 5 goals. Every game. Hellebuck had the worst series of his career by far. And the Jets offense is not to blame, and usually it would be.
Yeah, that's and credit to Colorado. But yeah, that's what shocked me. I think it was 16% of what Hellebuck gave up this season.
Yeah, he gave up a lot more goals than he ever had given up, and again, the worst series of his career.
Yeah, and have you seen the bonus news?
I have not.
Oh, he's retiring. So a lot. We'll have to see what happens with Winnipeg, but yeah, I thought this was gonna be closer. Like I really hyped this one up, and that's sad for Winnipeg, and bonus as well because they could have gone far. It was just
it's sometimes the goalie's gonna have a bad series, but you can't usually survive that.
Yeah. And a goalie that did not start off well was Ottinger, but he came up and started playing well. Same with Dallas, but Vegas too. I criticized. I texted you. I did not like I liked the Thompson move because he scared me. But Aiden Hill was also good. This was a tough series. This seemed to be some amazing hockey, even though I was stressing. But I'm sure for just a casual observer, this was probably a fantastic series. Once again,
my nerves were up. I wanted Dallas to win this series, but I always believed they were the better team. Their depth scoring at the end, that's the difference. You mentioned I guess this video is technically getting posted tomorrow, but you mentioned in it how the depth of the Mavs were the reason why they ended up winning this series, and that they couldn't afford a Luka disaster class and ended up winning the series. But that's the same thing that happened here with Dallas. Rupe Hintz, 1 goal on an empty netter and -4 in the series. Pavelski, no points, -1 over the series. Well, Hintz probably had the worst series of that Pavelski and Sons line. Pavelski also played poorly, and they survived it. Wyatt Johnston, Jake Ottinger. What I find funny is that Ottinger and the 2 goalies from Vegas had Aiden Hill and Logan Thompson. Logan Thompson plus Aiden Hill, their save percentage was .925, and Ottinger's was .925. So the goalies, literally speaking, canceled out. The same save percentage for both. Just Dallas was able to push forward, get more shots on goal, and end up winning the series they had 1 more goal scored in the series, and that was enough. It went to a game 7, and the game-winning goal scored by Radek Faksa, a player that had only played 2 games during the series, or 3 games during the series, because he had missed game 3, 4, 5, 6. Played 1 and 2, and then 7. Big goal, and again, depth is what you need at this time of year, and Dallas has that.
Yeah, and we talked about this team is so deep. On the offensive side, defensive side, they did just enough. They're playing 5 guys, and that's probably going to be the way it is until Hakan Pod gets back because Lundqvist messed up that goal. So he's probably not going to do much. But to me, Wyatt Johnston stuck out to me. Ty Dellandrea, too, the way he filled in. He's just played great against Vegas in the playoffs. He came in when they won the 2 games for Jamie Benn. So credit to Wyatt Johnston, though. That Game 3 win, just ice in his veins, and then also to get the scoring started. To me, Vegas was such a tough matchup for Dallas, given their defensive depth. They just knew how to, once they got a lead, I think maybe it was game 5, Dallas was able to crawl back. But other times when Vegas got the lead and it got to the 3rd period, they were just able to lock it down and not let Dallas score.
Yeah, a brutal error by, I think it was it Alex Martinez or was it Shake Theodore, I believe, who made the really bad pass into the middle of the ice, and Wyatt Johnston ended up stealing it and scoring after a good forecheck by Pavelski. And then the best player on the Stars has been over the last 5 years. It's Miro Heiskanen. The fact that he can play so long and be so good, it's why you can afford to play 5 defensemen for the majority of the game and maybe the entire game going forward. If I could honestly see them bringing Marchment back and just using 5 defensemen because I don't know if they want to really use Lundqvist at this moment.
Yeah, and I think there are conversations about Liam Bichelle coming up. He is a defenseman, and there are other talks about defensemen. But yeah, Lundqvist, I'm pretty sure, is not going to play. That's my big thing. Another thing was, Miro's amazing. Tanev has also been huge.
That's true. He had a +6 rating in this series. We can go to the second round. We'll start with Carolina versus the Rangers because that's the one that's already started. Rangers were up 1-0 after winning 4-3 in New York. I have the Hurricanes winning in 7. No matter what, this is going to be a great series. Really close. Two teams that have been to the conference finals the past 2 years. The Rangers 2 years ago. Last year was the Hurricanes. And now they're fighting for that chance again.
Yeah, I think that's a great point. And yeah, we're going to have to see what the Rangers do, but Carolina, it's going to be, I think it's going to be a close series. And I think we can move on to Florida versus Boston. You got a rematch. Yeah, some redemption.
Yeah, but we don't have Krejci, we don't have Bergeron, even though Bergeron only played 3 games that series because of injury. But it's going to be tight. Florida looks really good right now. I could still see Boston winning it, though. They have the experience. They have good players. It's just going to depend on can Swayman steal games like he did against Toronto, and I think that's possible. No matter what, I think it'll be a good series.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's a great point. And so we'll just have to see what happens. But yeah, I'm still going to stick with my pick for Florida. But we'll have to see what Boston does. Now we go to Vancouver versus Edmonton. I'm worried about Vancouver's goalies because you've been talking about Draisaitl and McDavid and just that speed. So I think I'm going to have to go with Edmonton in this one.
I'm going to go Edmonton too. They're too good. They're too good. And if you get a good goalie, you can beat them because I still don't like their defense as much as I would need to like them to be their title favorite. But when you have a goalie problem and you're going against 2 of the best offensive players in the league, that is an issue that I don't know how you fix.
Yeah, I think it's a great point. And kind of going into the goalie problem, if we can move on, you and we're more focused on Dallas because I think we've been saying this is the year for Dallas. This is a championship or bust season. They were on our list. They need to win.
They're the biggest championship or bust in the NHL.
Yeah. Vegas was that, and they got because of what they did, but Vegas lost, and it stinks that was in a first round, but we'll just have to see what happens. But Colorado is still a good team. They got McKinnon. Makar is still very good. We don't know what his injury level is. I'm worried about Gorgiev if I'm a Colorado Avalanche fan.
Yeah, Gorgiev had an .893 save percentage, I believe, in the first round. Not great compared to Ottinger's .925. And Pavelski had a bad series. Hintz had a bad series. That's not happening again. I told you over the phone that I'd make a brash prediction. I really do think Pavelski will have 4 or 5 goals in this series. You can only hold him back for so long. He hasn't scored since April 9th. That's almost a month ago. He's been a playoff performer his entire career. He has the most American goals by an American-born player, and he is the most by an active player, even though his career started a year after Ovechkin and Crosby, so he's had 1 less year to do it. But I'm excited for this series. I think the Stars have the depth. They have the better goalie. And while I think maybe the top-end offensive players like McKinnon are better, the defense, I still like Heiskanen. And when you add the other guys like Tanev, I really like their defense. Harley's played well. I know he had a bad start to the first round, but this is the year, and I think that now Dallas gets rolling. And while I think this series goes long again, like the Vegas series did, I could see Dallas ending it quickly.
Yeah, I think Dallas is rolling too, but Colorado is still a tough matchup. But I like Dallas's chances more than Vegas. I really wonder what Vegas did to affect Pavelski. I think there must have been something with his net presence. Well,
he still got tips. Those tips, they would block shots before they got tips. Vegas last year was very good at blocking shots, and this year, again, they were blocking shots before he could tip it. You got to block the shot before he gets a stick on it, not afterwards, because once he gets a stick on it, it's in the back of the net.
Yeah, and I don't feel like Colorado has the ability to do that.
I don't either. I really don't. I think this is going to be a great series for a lot of the Stars players that were having bad series before. I think this could be a dominant series for the Stars and a series to really get them going, get their confidence up. But it's going to be tight no matter what. There's no pushover in the Western Conference, even though I do think it's a little bit weaker. But it's the Stars to lose at the end of the day.
Yep. I agree, and I think Andrew's got to keep it up. He's got to keep playing as well as he did, and I think he can do that. So that's all I got, and since you kept the faith, I'll let you close out this episode.
Yeah, thank you guys for listening. Please let us know what you guys think the second round will look like, who will win, who will lose, and please catch you in our next video.